Now, the initial conversations with Rusty on this new collab, the Deuce, I wanted it to be more high performance. I wanted it to get in the pocket faster. I still wanted it to have that drive, that hold, and the stability I liked about the original Rusty twin fin. But my first question to Rusty was, how do we get this board to pivot faster? I'm not talking about manipulating the board with fins. I'm talking about board design. What attributes can we do in the Rusty that will make it get in the lip quicker? Something to promote pivot. And we started with wide point. Where is it on the original twin fin? It was forward from center, which is going to promote carving. More foam up front. I like that, but not at the expense of sacrificing the performance in the pocket for vertical surfing like a lot of us thruster guys want to do. So we took the wide point and we moved it back an inch from center.
A couple of things that you're looking for: the turning radius of the board. I mean, it's partially determined by the balance of the template. If you want a tighter turning board, you kind of have to pull the area back and the curve back, and the same thing with the bottom, and that will tighten up your turning radius.
We talked about adding more rocker, but I didn't want the board to be slower. Boards with a lot of rocker will give us traction, but then you have to keep them moving, and you've got to be good at using your rails. And I really feel like our community, we all want that instant, quick get up and go speed. So we actually reduced rocker to make the board faster. The other thing we did was we changed the bottom contours.
And it's got a fairly flat entry, and a concave starts, and then it shifts into a double V. The V's, kind of hard to see subtle, but they're kind of almost rounded at the peak. And then they drop down to a slight, what I call a hooked concave. And I've been incorporating this light hook for a long time on a lot of models. And as you come past the fins, I staunchly believe you need a little bit of release, especially in all boards, quads, tris. You need a little bit of release in the back 3 or 4 inches.
So I was talking to Rusty, how do we make it faster? And he goes, oh, I'm doing this thing called rapid entry.
Rapid entry, it's about a 2.0 on yours, on -1.5, and the concave, single concave carries back a little bit far. When you design on the software, you try to minimize what are called slices, and those are cross sections you put in, and that's how you can control the contour. You try to limit it because the fewer you have, the better the flow. And pulled this one back, and I've made it deeper, and I've added one here to keep the single. But then it's not super abrupt, but it drops into, I call this a hooked V. The deepest part of the concave is up here, and still single. It's still pretty much single, and then around here it starts to split, and then you have the hooked V, and you have a little bit more V off the tail.
Now I'm starting to get that quick pivot. I'm getting it in the pocket a lot faster. I've got that tight arcing turn. I've got the water flow and the lift that I'm looking for with this board being super fast down the line. Now, one of the things that's super important to me is not only the board outline, but what the board feels like under my arm. What's the rail feel like? And I wanted a performance rail. I like the rail a little bit more tapered. I want the rail to be easy to engage. And when I put my hand in the middle of the board here, I would say that the rail's medium. And as I go further back towards the fins, the apex of the rail gets a bit lower and a little bit sharper. The other thing I want to talk about is the original Rusty twin fin had a bit more rocker. I want this board to be fast. I want it to have that quick get up and go speed. And I also want it to be really fun in small waves. That's one of the things I absolutely love about a twin fin. It's how fast, how they can be loose, you can manipulate them with fins, and then I want the tail to be a little bit more free. And if we have the speed and the performance, and we can draw the lines that we want coming from thrusters, that's why I think you guys are gonna have the most fun on this board. And I saw Felipe out here ripping. We just met at the pool. You were riding what, a neckbeard 2?
Neckbeard 2, 5.4.
Destroying it out there, and I thought, Felipe, have you ever ridden a twin fin before?
No, first time.
First time.
Yeah.
So I begged him to come in, grab the prototype, come out for a few waves. Tell us what you experienced.
Yeah, so at first I was kind of, as I told you, I was not really sure if I want to give up my neck beard. But then I really wanted to try the twin fin. As you said, I never rode it before. And I really love it. I mean, I wasn't expecting that you could really like lay on rail with a twin like this. I thought it was going to be like way looser and not being able to get like a lot of speed on the bottom turn.
Right.
But it was awesome because when you start like laying the rail, it feels like a thruster, but at the end of the maneuver, the tail really goes loose and then you can kind of do whatever you want.
Slide in.
Yeah. So it's like the best of both worlds, I guess.
Being a thruster guy, talking to another thruster guy, you know, out there we're talking back and forth, and I feel like there's a fear that you're not going to have the traction, the hold, and designing the HP Twins to have a wider base to give you more drive. Did you feel like you had the hold that you wanted?
I really had a lot of drive, like at the bottom turn especially, you know.
Right.
And another advantage that I felt at least is that it's harder to catch the rail with this board and with my thruster actually.
Sick.
So the thruster was catching more rail, especially on the second turn.
Yeah.
When I was really like trying to push it hard on the rail, it was sometimes I was getting stuck.
Yeah.
This one I don't feel like I got stuck at all, like on any of the turns.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know if it has to do with like the size of the fins or it's awesome board. As I was telling you, I wanted to order one already, but it's a prototype, right? So
coming soon. Yeah. You took a picture of the dim.
I did.
So how tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm around 5'6.5".
Right.
And I weigh around 70 kilos.
70 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like the perfect measurement I felt like for myself.
And this board's coming in at 26 liters. And I saw your neckbeard 2 is, what's the volume on that?
That is 25 liters.
So this didn't feel too long? It felt good?
Yeah. It felt great. If I could, I would order like exactly with the same measurements.
Yeah, this is 5'5", 26 liters. This is a PU poly, and I ordered it super light so that when we came to the pool, we get the rail to bury and you can have good traction and still put it where you want fast, and that's how it felt?
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt, dude.
Yeah,
thank you so much for that.
Felipe.
Yeah,
excellent.
you too.
How's this twin fin board going to work in overhead surf? How's this twin fin board going to work for somebody who doesn't surf like me? Let's say you're more of a front-footed surfer.